So I think most of you have seen this fat acceptance movement. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I wasn't even planning on making this into a long video because there's so many different aspects of it. Fat acceptance, thin hate, what they call fat privilege or thin privilege. Well, it's really thin privilege where they complain about it, and then there was like a Reddit meme that mocked it and called it privileges that fat people have. But regardless, the whole thing is stupid. And it all stems from the fat positivity movement, which is just the idea of supporting that people should be fat and all this stuff, and we should ignore doctors when they say, lose weight for your health. It's a pathetic movement. It's basically tied in with the SJW movement in terms of lack of brain cells. And there was this great video right here, The Fat Doctor Clashes with Weight Loss Guru. And the reason why I picked this video is because it kind of encompasses all of the points that these people tend to make into one video. But before I make the video, I want to just talk about the phrase or the name of the movement in and of itself and how stupid it is. These people don't actually like themselves, and I think they know that. That's kind of the reason why they call it fat acceptance instead of fat love. Because these people don't really like themselves. They don't like the state that they're in. They made up this movement to feel better about themselves while still being lazy and not putting in the work. And my second point actually comes from the work. They talk about, like, you should love yourself at any size. The reality is, it actually takes more love for yourself to work on yourself to lose weight than it does to be comfortable with where you currently are. I'm not saying you should not be comfortable, but don't put it across that fat is love, because it's not. No person who is fat loves themselves. They might be comfortable with themselves and all that stuff, but they're not going to say, I love being fat. They're not. They accept that they're fat, and they might have a lot of struggle with getting thin. But most people, if they could choose to be thinner, they're going to. And these people are really just lazy and made up a movement to feel better about themselves. And if you truly loved yourself as much as you say you do, you'd be wanting to put in the work. That's the main thing. It takes more work to be thin than it does to be fat. And people who don't love themselves or their lives in general are lazy, they feel depressed and down, so they work less. People work more when they're happy, not when they're sad. So that's the first thing. But now let's get on to the points by talking to this woman here who claims to be a doctor. Are you surprised anymore? Because I'm not.
Natasha, would this character be attempting to lose weight, or would everyone be accepting the fact that they were a larger character and it really didn't matter about future health issues?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting topic, isn't it? This idea that weight loss is a good thing.
That's because it is. When you're fatter, you have all kinds of health conditions, and it's not just about health conditions, it's also a visual thing, like how you look and, you know, your confidence levels and all this stuff. People are less happy when they're bigger. It's just a fact.
Actually, most of the evidence out there shows that weight loss is actually not good for our health. In fact, if you want to pretty much guarantee that you're going to be heavier 5 years from now, the best...
Yeah, his face, that's how I feel.
...thing that you can do is go on a diet, because that's actually the greatest predictor of weight gain, is going on.
What a stupid woman. So she's conflating a fact, but using it in the wrong way. She's saying, if you go on a diet, you're really going to gain weight. What she's referring to is how most people, when they go on diets, they end up failing them or giving up, and then gain the weight back. But that's part of the self-love. That's part of the drive to be better and healthier. If you have the drive and the desire, you'll maintain it, because a diet is like a project. When you're finished the project, you stop. That's how a lot of people view diets. But when you truly want to lose weight and maintain it, you don't put it across to yourself as a project. You put it across to yourself as a lifestyle. And most people don't have the drive to change their lifestyle. I am not insulting people who struggle to change their lifestyle, because it is very fucking difficult. I'm one of those people myself. but don't lie about it.
On a diet. The weight loss industry is going to try and convince you that I'm wrong because they don't want
Because you are.
to acknowledge the fact that actually most people when they go on a diet actually end up gaining weight over 5 years. So in the first year,
Because, as I just said, they give up.
absolutely you can lose weight, but within 5 years you tend to gain it back again. And that's how the weight loss industry operates.
That is how the weight loss industry operates. You know, it's funny that you know that. You know that it's an industry where people lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back, and have to keep going to all these nutritionists and all these things and give them money. But you should also know that it's supposed to be a lifestyle change. But you're not focusing on that fact on purpose.
Where they make their money, because you lose weight and then you gain it back and then you have to go to another weight loss program. Or
Correct, but you don't have to.
I think well, there's a couple of things, right? So the first one with characters and heroes of any size, shape, colour, creed, nationality, gender, whatever. Of course, it's important to celebrate diversity. I agree with that. What I'm not in favour of is to glorify obesity to children as a normal way of being.
He's literally saying don't glorify obesity, and she's laughing. This woman is a doctor, I should just remind you.
Now, because that is obviously dangerous. What I'm kind of concerned...
Correct. It's okay to be obese. Nobody's insulting being obese if you're willing to work. But to encourage it? What the fuck?
...about, and I'm subtly kind of confused, is we have a doctor that's telling the nation today that actually you don't...
And she's like, yes, I am. I'm a stupid fuck, and you're gonna like it.
...don't need to lose weight, and you can be healthy. Now, that really concerns me because of all the obvious things that we know being too fat, obese, leads to. We also know in the current situation...
You fucking know that the only reason she's laughing at him is because she herself is fat and she doesn't think she could change it, so she's just accepting it.
That obesity, I've got the figures actually, where are they? I've got the figures. Obesity, if you get COVID, you are much more likely to be hospitalized if you are obese.
That's correct, actually. In terms of COVID, you are literally more susceptible to getting it and being hospitalized or dying because of being overweight. That's a fact.
And you are much more likely to die if you're on a ventilator in hospital with COVID. And it's all right you not...
She is getting stressed because she hates what he's saying, but let's wait for her amazing comeback.
...in your head there, doctor, and it's interesting you call yourself the fat doctor. I mean, I just can't understand. It's like you're promoting fat. It's like the fat acceptance army. I mean, maybe it's me being a bit slow, but you're going to have to explain to me why you feel it's actually a good thing to be fat.
Well, and Natasha, I think you should answer that. I mean, you've actually gone further to say that opinions like Steve are discriminating.
Of course, and there it is right there. That's how we know that she is either not a real doctor or at the very least shouldn't be, because she's mixing in her fucking SJW beliefs into it. The minute I would hear a real professional like a doctor or a psychologist say something like, it's not diverse, or it's racist, or it's discrimination, I would immediately tell that person to shut the fuck up, and I would never go to them again.
Absolutely. I think there's lots of things we have to understand here. First of all, health...
You're an idiot?
...is not just physical, okay? Health it's mental, it's emotional, it's...
And you're wrong on all fronts. First of all, when you say it's not just physical, it's almost like you're saying, yeah, you're right about physical, but wrong about everything else. Technically, we're right about everything, but the fact that you're admitting to it makes it kind of nice. But yeah, physical is very important, health conditions, heart disease, all that stuff, diabetes, blah, blah. And then, even if we're talking about mental and emotional, you're still wrong, because as I mentioned earlier, this is not real love. It's just acceptance, not love. You literally have a mental disorder that's not just SJWism. The mental disorder of believing that this is good and having it affect other people, where you're encouraging your friends and family to also be fat just so that you can feel better about yourself. The depression that you're facing within yourself because you don't have the willingness to change or work on it, that's the emotional part. So you're wrong on all fronts.
spiritual. And the second thing that we
Spiritual? Yeah, religion has nothing to do with weight.
have to appreciate is that health is a privilege that you're born into.
Your doctorate needs to be revoked immediately. She just said health is a privilege you're born with. Now, that is half true, but wrong in this context. True because, yes, people are born with pre-existing conditions. People are born with various health conditions. You know, you can have a slow metabolism, fast metabolism, heart conditions, different illnesses, all this stuff. There are many things that happen from birth, unfortunately. But you cannot use that as an excuse to just sit around on your ass and get fat and even encourage it, you fuckwit.
It is not an achievement from losing weight.
Yes, it is. It is an achievement. And you know why it's an achievement? Because it's hard work. And the only reason that you are not saying it's an achievement is because you don't want to put in the work. So, to avoid making yourself feel bad, you're trying to claim that being fat is the fucking achievement. Weight loss is very fucking difficult. For some people it's easy and for some people it's really hard. But in general it's harder for everybody than it is to gain weight. So, yeah, that makes it an achievement.
An exercise. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to explain that. So basically what all of the evidence shows is that
The evidence.
when you're born into an affluent home, when you're born white, when you're born male, when you're...
Here we go. Another SJW talking point. When you're white. I mean, when you're a man, that's technically true because men do naturally have more muscle and a faster metabolism than women, making weight loss easier for men. However, a little bit of a side note. One, it has nothing to do with being white, and two, you can be a black man or a Hispanic man. Just so you know, not all men are white. Oh, white male, fuck you.
You're born able-bodied, when you're born cisgender.
Well, of course, when you're able, obviously a person who's in a wheelchair is going to have a harder time than a person who can walk, run, jog, and do various exercises. But again, most of the people in the fat acceptance movement are not in wheelchairs. You're just fat and lazy and trying to make an excuse for yourself.
Or heterosexual.
Weight loss has nothing to do with sexuality. What the fuck are you talking about, you stupid piece of shit? In fact, most gay people work out like crazy. Most gay people are actually very thin. That's the truth.
All of those things mean that you are more privileged and your health will automatically be better.
Automatically. Imagine that. Imagine, forget biology, forget nutrition, forget science, talking about metabolism and all these things, or the foods you eat, or, maybe you have a thyroid issue, all these things. Forget health. Fuck what a real doctor has to say. Let's instead blame social shit. Skin color, race, gender, things that have nothing to do with weight.
Irrespective of your weight, and that's unfortunately difficult.
This guy needs to tell this bitch off.
For people like Steve, because of course Steve likes to blame the individual and say that weight loss is something that we can do.
That's because it is.
But we actually have all the data to show that it's not something, and we've also got the data to show.
Don't talk at the same time because it's even hard.
She's not gonna shut up. This is actually one of the things people do. They talk and talk and talk and talk so that the other person can't make a comeback. And in their mind it goes, well, if you can't talk, I win.
I think what I'm actually saying is that I think it is incredibly important to inspire and to enthuse our nation to live their life non-obese. What you're saying today is we should glorify it. Let's celebrate being fat.
I mean, you have already on social media, and this is part of a movement actually to do this, which is to censor the word obesity, and within the word obesity you put an asterisk there so you don't actually write the word. Why have you...
And there it is. Well, this is one of many things. This is what proves that it's got nothing to do with real health concerns or mental health, emotional health, etc. She also wants on social media for the word obesity to be censored so that people can't say it. If that doesn't scream my feelings over facts, literally nothing will.
Decided to do that.
Well,
Because of feelings over facts, but let's listen to her stupid fucking excuse.
because what Steve is accusing me of is actually absolutely correct. I look at the evidence, and it makes it very clear that you cannot tell whether a person is healthy just by weighing them and measuring their body mass index.
That is absolutely true. This is the one and only thing that she said that's absolutely fucking correct. The BMI is fucking bullshit, because the BMI does not account for body type or muscle mass. It doesn't. So fuck the BMI. But you know what's a good way to check? If you're wearing a double XL t-shirt or a triple XL shirt and that shit is tight as fuck on you, if your stomach is weighing over your body so much that you can't see your dick when you look down, you're probably overweight. Just a fucking idea.
Lots of studies that show, in fact, there's one study that showed that 50% of people with a BMI of over 25.
Now she's talking about a BMI of over 25 that people are healthy. Yes, probably, because obese means you have a BMI of over 30. But sure, let's use 25 to make your point seem more valid than it actually is.
Are actually healthy, and 30% of people who have got a BMI under 25 are not healthy. And so actually
did it occur to you that maybe they're not healthy for other reasons? Whatever.
I do when I'm at work is I never call people obese, because I know how triggering that word is.
Triggering? Oh God! We have to protect people's feelings because facts are hurtful.
I know that obesity, that word, has contributed to a lot of weight stigma, and what that's done, it's so dangerous in the medical.
A lot of weight stigma, yeah. And what you have encouraged is a society where most people, and I'm not even making a joke here, most people actually are obese. I'm one of them. Now, I'm not obese because of people like this, but I still am. And that's not a good thing. My weight is not good. I don't accept it, okay?
Medical profession. My colleagues are not giving obese patients the same treatment that they're giving to their thin patients.
Maybe it's because you need more treatment because your weight is wrong. Look, it's not about being fat or skinny. If you're overly skinny, like you have fucking anorexia or something, you also need medical help. You have to be at a average in the middle weight to be healthy. If you're overweight, you can have health problems, and if you're underweight, you can have health problems. This is just the way the body fucking works. You're that angry at fucking biology and science and nutrition. It's unbelievable.
And also,
However, Natasha, Steve says being obese is the second largest killer to cancer.
It is.
that's not true at all. That's absolute nonsense. I've got the evidence to prove that is absolutely untrue. He's just quoting false
Just come out
statistics.
with that. You can't be putting that message out as a doctor. And also, can I say this? Can I say... No, you let me speak for a minute. The latest study from Harvard, if you want to go down the research and study route, has made it absolutely clear that you cannot be fat and healthy. And it is a disgrace, in my opinion, for any doctor to be shouting to the nation this morning, well, do you know what? If you're a bit poor, or if you're, I don't know, whatever, you're always going to be fat anyway. And actually, it doesn't really matter because you can be fat and really healthy.
It's really difficult,
true.
isn't it?
He is absolutely right.
I am willing to stake my career on the fact that I believe
And I hope you lose it.
that we need to stop telling people to lose weight. I absolutely believe
Yes, so that the obesity percentage can continue rising.
we should be encouraging people to nourish themselves.
You know what? I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's encourage people to get fat and stop telling them that they're fat. That way more people will die. It's called natural selection, and I'm very much in support of that.
Exercise, but not to lose weight.
Heart attack. You're telling the nation that if they're obese, don't worry about it, even though we know that most people, if you're obese, you're much more at risk of dying of COVID if you get it. And you're saying to the nation today, as GP then,
I'm not sure
don't
you
worry
two
about
are
it.
ever going to agree on this point, and we probably...
Anyway, in summary, everything that she said is wrong. She needs to have her doctorate revoked immediately. She is a disgrace to doctors and the entire healthcare field as a whole. Everything that guy said was true. And fuck this bitch. Fuck the entire fat acceptance movement to begin with. One more side note that I want to add on to this video is the absolute hypocrisy of the fat acceptance movement and how it's quite literally only meant for women. There's a reason why we have plus size models, but they're always women. When a man is a model, he's always jacked and has a six-pack and all this. And fat men are considered ugly, but fat women are considered beautiful. I know women have overall more beauty standards, but in terms of the fat acceptance movement, men are still put down. And standards for men are actually more difficult because some of them aren't even possible. For example, weight can be changed. Your face can be changed with makeup. But men are insulted for things like height, which obviously cannot be changed. So it's important to note that hypocrisy as well. Just to reiterate from the beginning of the video, this is the real truth in summary. It literally takes more love for yourself to put in the work than it does to be lazy, accept yourself the way you are without putting in any work at all, and encourage it in other people just to make yourself feel better. If you truly loved yourself, you would put in the work. That's the truth. You don't love yourself, and that's why you'd rather just accept it than work on it. And I also believe that's the literal reason why it's called fat acceptance and not fat love, for the record.